That was good. Was good. So, was good. Was good, bro. Was good. Oh my gosh, was good. Hello, guys. Hello, guys. Was good. Going to be reacting to his story today. Alright, so let's go all the way, like, kind of in the bottom. Chat. Yo, Shad. Yo, was good. Reacting to his story today. Yo, Bethany was good. Chat. Almost time for me to go to school, so I wanna have a little fun, guys. I wanna have a little fun. Let's start with this. That was a good chat. For sure, bro. What is he, bro? What am I lagging, chat? Wait, I'm lagging. Wait, can y'all hear it? Wait, actually, wait, give me a second. I can't hear it, bro. You guys can't hear it, bro. You guys can't hear it. Yes, I have no idea. Let's do the YouTube one. Alright, let's do it. Alright, chat, let's do it. Let's start with the first one out here.
3 days after I broke up with Jess, I opened my blinds and saw her sitting in a lawn chair on the roof across the street, watching my window through binoculars. She waved. I jumped back from the window because this was exactly why I ended it. She'd spent our whole relationship tracking everything I did, and now she'd found a way to keep watching. My roommate Dean burst out laughing. Bro, she's got a whole setup up there. I peeked through the blinds and saw that she had a cooler, a little umbrella, and a folding table. I thought she would get bored and leave soon, but I had no idea how committed she was. By day 2, she'd found herself a megaphone. "Good morning," she boomed at 7 a.m. Dean lost it laughing every single time she used it, filming half of it on his phone. Day 3, she'd strung up a banner that just said, "Miss you," across the roof's edge. I tried to call the cops because I was starting to get really freaked out, but they said she had gotten permission to be up there so they couldn't do anything. On day 4, she started narrating my day out loud through the megaphone whenever I left for work. "There he goes! Looking sharp today, folks!" People on the sidewalk started stopping to watch. It stopped being funny the morning she added a second lawn chair next to hers and told the megaphone, "This one's for my man whenever he comes to apologize." Dean stopped laughing. Okay, she is actually unhinged. I decided I'd had enough. "We're going up there." Dean grabbed his jacket. "That's a terrible idea. I'm in." We climbed the fire escape, and the second we reached the roof, her whole demeanor changed. "Took you long enough." She pulled a kitchen knife from her jacket, hand shaking. "If I can't have you, no one can." Dean went pale beside me, all the jokes gone out of him at once. "Jess, put that down." She ignored me and charged toward us, but then her foot caught the edge of the little folding table, and she fell backward over the low roof wall. Nobody said anything for a long time. Then Dean finally broke the silence. "Do you think I can have the megaphone?" 3 days.
Dang! Okay, that was actually a dumb story. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. That was a W one. Like, chat, how much should I rate this out of 10, bro? How much should I rate this out of 10? How much should I rate this out of 10, right? Chat, Hanya was good. What do you mean, bro? Wait, bet like water. What do you mean? It's good.
Our class was completely out of control when our teacher, Mrs.
Oh,
Mrs. Butte looked at her phone, let out a huge scream, and dropped to the floor. She was my favorite teacher, so I ran to her first. "Are you okay?" The school nurse rushed in and carried her out while we sat there in shock. And a few minutes later, the principal came back with tears running down his face. "Mrs. Butte has passed away. It was a heart attack." Kids started crying. "And we have a visitor." A random man stormed in with a clenched fist. "How dare you kill my wife?" The whole class froze. We were being accused of killing our teacher, and we had no idea why. "How could we have killed our teacher?" I shouted. The man blocked the door, jabbing a finger at my chest. "You kids stressed her out, always stressing her out. Nobody's leaving until I get justice for my wife." Then the door flew open, and cops rushed in. "Arrest those children!" As kids screamed, the principal wiped his eyes. "She did tell me this was her worst class. She just started blood pressure medication from the stress." My body trembled. Had we actually done this? "That's enough. We're taking you all to the station," an officer said, reaching for his cuffs. The husband threw his hands up. "Finally, justice." But something felt wrong. She'd been fine until she looked at that phone, so I whispered to
Oh, the skin was black the whole time, yo. My bad, chat. Y'all didn't even tell me. What is this, bro? Y'all didn't even tell me, bro.
my friend, "Wait, I have an idea." While the adults argued over who was guilty, I slipped to Mrs. Butte's desk and grabbed her phone. It was still unlocked, and when I saw the screen, I immediately screamed the same way she did, and the whole room went silent and turned to me. With shaking hands, I turned the phone around. I know how she died. This was the last thing she saw before she had a heart attack. I hit play. It was her doorbell security camera, and in the video, it showed her husband kissing another woman. He said, "I should have married you, her hot sister, but she'll never know." He was cheating on Mrs. Butte with her sister. The whole room turned to him. He backed against the wall. You don't understand. It was because of the kids, not me." But he clutched his chest and dropped to the floor just like she had. He blamed us for her death, but even his own heart called him a liar. Our class was completely out of control when our teacher, Mrs. Butte, looked at her phone, let out a huge scream, and dropped to the floor. She was my favorite teacher, so I ran to her first. "Are you okay?" The school nurse rushed in and carried her out while we sat there in shock. And a few minutes later, the principal came back with tears running.
Why is this? Like, why does my screen keep on going black, bro? Bro, it's actually crazy how it keeps on going black, bro. I don't know why. Bro, wait. Chat, it's actually crazy. Wait. Let's see this.
Running
Alright.
down his face. "Mrs. Butte has passed away. It was a heart attack." Kids started crying. "And we have a visitor." A random man stormed in with a clenched fist. "How dare you kill my wife?" During my son's birthday party, my wife grabbed my arm. "Did you hire a clown?" I quickly said, "No, I didn't hire a clown." "Why?" My wife looked scared and pointed. I looked over and saw a clown was walking my son and 3 other kids into the back of a van. I sprinted over. "Hey, what are you doing? Get away from my kids!" The kids were laughing in the back of the van, thinking this was a game. The clown turned around and smiled.
So, okay, the parents, first of all, the parents did not teach their kid about those people keeps on like kidnapping kids, bro. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, bro. That's crazy.
Creepily, "These kids aren't going home today, and it's your fault." My blood went cold. "What do you mean it's my fault? Who are you?" He reached up and wiped the makeup off his face. "Remember me? 4th grade." My chest tightened because I knew exactly who he was. He was my best friend in elementary school. One day, he started messing with a lighter behind our school and accidentally set the whole building on fire. When the cops questioned me, I told the truth, and he went to juvie. "You snitched on me and ruined my entire life. You got to grow up. Birthday parties, a wife, kids. I got a cell and a criminal record before I turned 11. He's been holding a grudge for years, and now he was getting me back for it." I looked at my son in the back of the van laughing, thinking this was a game. "So here's what's going to happen." He pulled out a lighter and shoved it into my chest. "You're going to burn your house down, right now, or I'm taking these kids, and they aren't coming back." My hands were shaking. I looked at my wife, hoping she'd think of something quick. I saw her quickly pull out her phone and dial 911. I took the lighter like I didn't notice. "Fine, I'll do it." I gripped the lighter and started walking toward my house. I could feel him breathing down my neck, following me. But I was also walking towards the other side of the house, so he'd walk away from the van. I glanced at my wife. She nodded.
Wait, chat,
The second
wait. What are those shoes, bro? What are those, bro? What are those? What are these, bro? What are these? What are those?
close, so he'd walk away from the van. I glanced at my wife. She nodded. The second he was far enough from the van, my wife and 2 friends sprinted to the van and grabbed every kid out. He heard the commotion and spun around. What the? Bang! I swung the lighter across his face as hard
That's what I'm talking about. Boom in the face. Yes, sir.
as I could. He stumbled back holding his cheek. Then we heard sirens coming down the street. He looked at the cop cars and tried to run, but his oversized clown shoes caught each other and he fell flat on his face. The cops cuffed him on my front lawn. The kids started clapping and cheering. Best clown ever, Daddy. During my son's birthday party, my wife
The kids still don't know, bro. Oh my gosh, bro. Nah. Wait, don't. Yo, that's actually crazy. Oh my gosh, bro. It's actually crazy. Let's go to the other one. Yo, there's no way. Oh wait, I'm already on the top. Yo, wait, how did we finish watching all of these like so fast?
After a whole week of I bought a used laptop at a pawn shop and I woke up to Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley blasting outside my window at 7 a.m. and I jumped out of bed already laughing. I already knew it was my boy Foley because he'd been Rick rolling me every Saturday for 8 years straight. It was the only time I got to see him because he was always working. But this time I grabbed my brand new boombox because today I was finally ready to Rick roll him back. I ran down to the front door still in my boxers and holding the boombox over my head on full volume.
What's good, bro? I don't know if you guys can hear me. Like it's a little bit like I don't know. Like I don't know if you guys can hear me. What's good?
But when I opened the door, I froze because there was a kid standing there with Foley's duct-taped boombox. Where's Foley? He gripped the handle tighter. He's not here. I'm Theo, his little brother. He told me I had to play this until you came out. My smile died. Where is he? The kid pulled a folded note from his jacket. I thought you knew. I unfolded the note with shaking hands. By the time you're reading this, I'll be—
Please, don't tell me he's dead. Please, don't tell me he's dead, bro. If you say he's dead, bro, oh my gosh, bro. Wait, let me read it. By the time you reading this, I'll be gone at the bodily bodily cancer for 3 years. They said this pretty. You were the best part of my day. Sorry, I have never told you.
gone. I've been battling
But take care of my
cancer for 3 years. The Saturdays pranking you were the best part of my week.
Oh my gosh! Tell me he's dead. No, he's dead. He's dead. It's cooked. It's over.
Sorry I never told you, but take care of my brother for me. 8 years, I thought I was the one getting pranked. Those Saturdays were him holding on. Theo nodded at the boombox in my hand. He said you'd know what to do next. I forced back my—
But guys, if he was battling cancer, don't you think like the brother would know? Because like if you battling cancer, you usually like shave your head off, right?
tears, raised the boombox over my head
What's good, Thomas? What's
and
good?
pressed play. I woke up to Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley blasting outside my window at 7. I handed a glass of water to my almost dead grandpa, but he smacked it across the room. He raised a finger at the photo on his wall and yelled, "Forget the water! I buried a treasure on that mountain." In the photo, he was young, standing on that summit with a shovel over his shoulder, and his chest rattled as he begged, "Take me up there before I go to heaven." My dad walked in with his new girlfriend on his arm and laughed. "He's demented, buddy. There's no treasure up there. Don't let him fill your head with dirt." She pulled him out the door while he shook his head, but Grandpa's eyes kept glaring at the photo, so I grabbed my new driver's license and smiled. "Let's go get that treasure, Grandpa."
Son, W, Grandson, bro. W son, bro. Oh my gosh, W.
I loaded Grandpa, his wheelchair, and his old shovel into his rusted truck. Dad sprinted out yelling, "Stop! There's no treasure!" while the girlfriend honked from the convertible, but I pulled away with my heart slamming in my chest from excitement. Halfway up the mountain road, the truck jerked and died, refusing to start back up. I popped the hood with shaking hands, but Grandpa croaked from the seat, pinched the fuel line and tapped the filter, so my hands did what his voice said, and the engine roared back. I started driving again.
Who's What's Grandpa, bro? Is Grandpa Elon Musk or something? What is this? Whoa!
But a few miles later, Grandpa went quiet mid-sentence and slumped against the door. I put my hand against his nose, but my face went pale because Grandpa wasn't breathing. So I dragged him flat onto the gravel and pushed on his...
No! Don't tell me Grandpa is dead before they get to the treasure. No. Guys, I'm sorry for pausing it, bro. I'm sorry for pausing it. Oh my gosh, no.
chest, counting out
Oh.
loud until he gasped
Oh!
awake right as Dad's convertible screamed around the bend below us. I buckled him in and barely hit the gas before Dad could open the door. At the summit, I wheeled him to the lookout and the wind hit us like a wall. Grandpa gripped the armrests and pushed himself up onto his own 2 feet for the first time in a year. Dad's convertible skidded in behind us and he came running, but I stepped into his path and held him back. Grandpa pointed at the boulder from the photo. Right there, dig there. My hands rattled when the shovel hit metal on the 6th swing, and I hauled up a rusted barrel that looked 100 years old. But when I opened it, it was filled with shiny new gold bars. Dad's eyes lit up, and he pushed the girlfriend away and pulled Grandpa into a hug. I knew it, Dad. I always knew you weren't demented. Grandpa patted his cheek and winked at me, so I winked back. When he passed, his will left me every gold bar, and next to Dad's name, there was just one line. There's no treasure up there. I handed
W. Oh my gosh. You see what you get for helping? That's how you should always help somebody, bro. Oh my gosh, that was a W story, bro. Oh my gosh, I thought the grandpa was dead, like in the beginning. Like, okay, bro, W. Yo, Jackie, bro, what's good? What's good, bro? How are you, bro?
a glass of water to my almost dead grandpa. My safety harness unlocked at the exact moment the roller coaster took off. I tried as hard as I could to alert the ride operator, but they were way too busy doom-scrolling to notice my panicked screams. The coaster clicked up the first hill. My harness had raised fully above my head. At this point, the only thing holding me in my seat was gravity. We approached the top of the hill, and the fear took over. This was the craziest roller coaster in the country. The first drop was over 500 feet, followed by a huge loop and a tunnel. My screams grew louder as we reached the top of the hill, but the ride kept inching upwards. There was one final click, and we stopped at the top. My life flashed before my eyes at 10 times speed before the cart dropped over the edge. The G-forces were strong enough to lift me 8 inches out of my seat. The wind nearly blinded me, and my heart was pounding so fast that I thought it might stop completely. When we hit the bottom, my body slammed down with so much force that I thought I broke my tailbone. I had to focus through the pain if I wanted to survive what came next. The coaster began to ramp up for the huge loop. The coaster was designed to stop dead at the top.
Cooked. He's cooked. How has he not fall off yet? Oh my gosh, he's cooked. He's cooked. Man, he's cooked. Oh my gosh, he's cooked. This is the important.
Top of the loop to build suspense. As it began to peak, I began to fall out of my seat. My body fully left the coaster, but I was able to grab my harness. I hung there for what seemed like forever, holding on with all the strength in my body. My grip gave out.
If I was in I would literally use all my strength, all my power to go see Undead, bro. I would go ahead and see Undead.
Just as the cart started to move again, I was falling straight down. By some crazy luck, the coaster reached the bottom of the hill exactly when I did. I landed perfectly in my empty seat. I ducked down at the precise moment we came to the tunnel. The raised harness clipped the ceiling and snapped completely off. When we came out on the other side, we were back at the start of the track.
What? Wow. You gotta be too lucky, bro. You gotta be the luckiest person alive. Oh my gosh, say thank you to
I
God, bro.
jumped out, kissed the ground, and promised myself I'd stick to bumper cars for the rest of my life. My safety harness unlocked at the... When my dad found out he was refereeing my soccer game, he told me in the tunnel, "I'm not playing favorite son, don't expect special treatment." I smiled because I actually wanted a fair game, but then the other team's striker Mason elbowed my ribs in the air, and I fell. But Dad just gave me a yellow card for diving and gave the ball to Mason. I thought he'd just missed the foul, but next time I had the ball, Mason kicked me in the shin. I went down, clutching the already forming bruise, but Dad just shrugged and said, "I told you I'm not playing favorites." That's when Mason whispered in my ear, "I'm gonna injure you," and he won't even call it. My blood ran cold, and the rest of the game Mason kicked my calves and dragged my hair. Dad never blew his whistle. I remember seeing the bruises covering my shins and getting so angry I wanted to leave. But then Mason slide tackled so hard I heard a crunch. I instantly dropped and screamed in pain. Sure,
If that does nothing, I'm actually gonna bring my computer right now. If that does nothing, bro, I'm going to break my computer right now.
My legs were broken, but Dad finally blew his whistle. Foul. He showed Mason a yellow card, and Mason flailed his arms. That's not a foul. You're only saying that because he's your son. I remember laughing at how stupid that was because he'd been fouling me all game. But then suddenly, I saw Mason's dad in the crowd. You're cheating, ref. He was pointing at my dad. That wasn't a foul. He leapt the barricade and started running towards us with his fists clenched. He punched my dad in the jaw before anyone could react and stood over him. How's that for a foul? My boy isn't fouling anyone. Stop helping your son.
Whoa, the dad just got punched. And this guy's Jack, bro. He almost looked AI. I mean, it is AI, but you know what I mean,
Mason
bro.
grinned, and when I looked at Dad on the ground, I got angry and stood up despite my bones crunching. Your son's been injuring me all game, you idiot. Don't touch my dad. I shoved Mason's dad in the chest. His eyes went wide, and he cocked his arm back to swing at me. But then security guards tackled him. They dragged him off screaming, while Mason shouted, "Let him go." When Dad stood up, he immediately ordered Mason off the pitch. Mason stormed off stomping his cleats. I laughed hard, but then Dad turned to me and pulled out a red card. That's for assaulting.
Bro, the dad is so dumb. Look at his face. That's why you old man. Bro, the dad is so dumb. What is this? Bro, okay, bro. Like, how's the dad that dumb, bro? How you gotta be that
A
dumb?
fan. You're out of the game too. My smile dropped. When my dad found out he was refereeing my soccer game, my
That's it.
professor slammed his ruler on his desk. Attention, you fail this test, and you fail my philosophy class. No excuses. He crossed his arms. If you are caught cheating during this exam, automatic 0. You may start now. The exam hit my desk, and every question looked
For real, yeah, bro. That's what I'm saying, bro. A dumb dad. It becomes like a dumb situation instead of becoming like, bro, the dad is so dumb.
like a different language. I looked up to the same blank stare on every face in the room. I looked at the other pages, then put my head down, knowing I needed to cheat without knowing how. 2 rows up, a kid kept his phone open on his lap, scrolling every time the professor turned to the board, until he turned back too soon and caught him cold. You with the phone, automatic F, come sit in front of the class. The kid raised his hand, phone still in it, and walked to the front, sitting in full view for the rest of the exam. I started sweating, even though the AC was on, and I needed to figure something out. Behind me, another kid murmured into his collar, "Hey Siri, explain Descartes. I think, therefore, I am." His lips barely moved, and nobody looked twice. Then I saw the real move.
Yo, this guy's actually smart. I'm not gonna lie, bro. If I would have cheated, which is never gonna happen, I would have do it like this.
A kid 2 seats over reading someone else's answers through his glasses. A tiny camera hidden in the lens. His head
Wow, technology is so big these days that like you can literally read people's answer like from your glasses, bro. Technology, yeah, AI is gonna take over, bro. For real, AI is taking over.
never turning. I dug a plain pair of black shades out of my bag, muttered light sensitivity as I slid them on, and angled my head enough to catch my neighbor's page in the lens. I was
Question mark, bro. Bro, put question mark. I don't know.
still good. The first test hit the table. Once you turn it in, you stand up front until everyone's done, the professor said. Some gave up halfway and stood there anyway, pages blank, while others kept turning theirs in until every seat emptied out except mine, and I walked mine up last, shades still on. The professor glanced at them. Those staying on, light sensitivity, I said, and went to stand with the rest. He pushed back his chair, walked to the front, and squared the stack against his desk. This test was never about how you did, he said, scanning the room. It was about whether you'd bend a rule to get something done, because the right call isn't the clean one. Everyone who turned it in passes. He looked at the kid with the phone. Drop the panicked face. Your acting was great. Remember, guys, the professor said, leaning against his desk. Naruto never got a fair hand, and he didn't wait around for one either. He tapped the stack of tests. Naruto said it best. If you don't like the hand fate gave you, go build a new one. My professor slammed his ruler on his desk.
Okay. I don't even know what to say to this story. Let's just get to this.
I was nearly knocked off my feet when the mortar shell hit the battlefield I was running across. My base was still at least a quarter mile away, and I had to get back with the intel I gathered on my recon mission. Just then, my leg was caught by something. I looked down. It was another soldier. He took the full blast from the mortar, and his uniform had been burned to black ash. I picked him up and carried him the rest of the way to the base. When we arrived, I gave them my report. The enemy was closing in, and fast. Good report, but But that's not the only thing you brought us, Sergeant. Turns out the soldier you brought in was an enemy messenger, and I want you to get information out of him to stop the incoming attack, by any means necessary. I went down to the soldier's holding cell. He was already strapped to rack for torture. I grabbed a bat covered in barbed wire from the table. I just wanted to scare him. I didn't think I had it in me to hurt this man. Tell me what I want to know, and I'll take this easy on you. Your troops are almost here, and they have to be stopped. He was silent. Fine, if you won't tell me, we'll do this the hard way. I ripped his shirt off and prepared to strike, hoping he would say something before I had to. On his chest was a tattoo of 3 girls' names. I stopped myself. My wife and daughters, he said. I just want to go home to them. I put the bat down. Beating prisoners just wasn't me, and it sure wasn't what I was fighting a war for. I decided to be a human before being a soldier that day. I released the prisoner and helped him escape despite the risk. Before he disappeared into the woods, he turned and said, "Thanks for helping me. Take this in return." He handed me a slip of paper. "If you broadcast this code, it will stop the enemy attack and they'll retreat. Then maybe we can both go back home." The enemy attack had already begun, so I sprinted back to the broadcast tower and sent out the code. The shelling stopped, the enemy retreated, and hundreds of lives were spared. I was nearly knocked off my feet when the
Dang. Okay, W, bro. Like when you get a good person, you're gonna get in return, you know? Just joking. Watching videos, not shorts. Oh yeah, I should watch the videos, but next stream because like I'm already in the short version. You're not gonna be able to see the whole.
final test, your natural instincts. One blanket has a criminal murderer, the other has your parents. Pick one and shoot. My hands trembled on the grip as my throat went dry. I'd been training to be a special forces hitman and hadn't seen my parents in 3 years. My recruiter had promised me I would see them soon. This is what he meant. I raised the pistol towards the blanket on my right. Mom had hated that word since the day she spent 4 hours teaching me the difference between right and right back when I first learned English. She couldn't be under that one. My index finger trembled, but I squeezed. Let's see how strong those instincts were. My heart trembled as my recruiter grabbed the blanket and pulled. A dummy stared back at me. My hands were still shaking as he walked over and placed his hand on my shoulder. You trusted your instincts so much that you pointed a loaded gun at a blanket that could have been your parents. That's exactly what we need. You passed. I dropped to my knees. Final test. Your natural instincts.
Bro, I would have never done
My
that.
classmate walked up to me after school holding a Pokemon card and said, "I'll trade you my shiny Mewtwo for your holographic Charizard." He held the Mewtwo up to the sun, and it was so shiny it looked wet, and I'd never seen one like it in my life. I'd been saving my Charizard since 2nd grade and swore I'd never trade it, but a shiny Mewtwo had to be one of those rare ones from Japan, and this was a once-in-a-lifetime trade. I pulled my Charizard out of my binder and slid it across the bench, and Tate dropped the Mewtwo in my hand and walked off before I could change my mind. I held the Mewtwo up the whole walk home, watching the shine catch the light from every angle. I was the happiest kid in the world, and I couldn't wait to show Garrett the best trade of my life. I burst through the front door and ran straight to his room, and he looked up from his desk as I held the Mewtwo out in front of him with both hands. He took one look at it and stopped chewing his gum. "Where'd you get this?" It wasn't even a question. He flipped it over and scratched the corner with his thumbnail, and a flake of ink came off onto his finger. "Dude, it's printed, like on a printer. Who traded you this?" My stomach hit the floor. Tate from your grade?" I nodded. "What did you give him for it?" I stared at his carpet because I couldn't look him in the eye, and I finally got the words out. "My hollow Charizard." He just stared at me. "The one you wouldn't even let me touch?" I turned around and ran. I told my mom I forgot something at school, sprinted the whole way back, but the bell had rung an hour ago and the playground was empty. I went home and sat in my room, scratching the corner of the fake Mewtwo over and over, watching another flake come off every time, and I barely slept all night. The next morning, I cornered Tate at the basketball court before first bell and shoved the Mewtwo at him. "Give me my Charizard back. This is fake." Tate barely looked at it. "Yeah, I know." Then he shrugged and pulled a Game Boy out of his backpack. "I already traded it to
Uh, that's a scam. Yeah, bro. He's just this guy.
a
No.
6th grader for this. He doesn't even go to this school. His brother just dropped him off yesterday. He turned the Game Boy on, and the Pokemon Red start screen lit up his face, and something in me snapped. I tackled Tate straight into the blacktop, and the Game Boy went skidding across the court. He swung at me, but I pinned his arm with my knee and started swinging back, and by the time the recess monitor pulled me off him, his nose was bleeding, and he was crying. I grabbed the Game Boy off the blacktop and went for his backpack to take whatever else he had, and right there in the front pocket was my hollow Charizard tucked into a top loader. Tate had been lying about the 6th grader the whole time. I held it up to the sun, and it caught the light just like it used to. I walked away with my Charizard and a Game Boy. My classmate walked up to
Oh my gosh, insane, bro. Right hook, bro. Got it. Oh my gosh, yo. Yeah, bro, it's crazy.
My
Yo.
pregnant client fell and started giving birth in the courtroom, and the prosecutor yelled she was manipulating the jury. She ran up behind me while I was closing my law office for the night and tapped my shoulder. I'm 8.5 months pregnant and my trial is tomorrow. They said they'll take my baby away. Please do something. She said she was homeless and had robbed baby formula and diapers at gunpoint. I told her, I'll represent you. Next morning we walked into the courthouse and the prosecutor saw Nadia struggling to walk and immediately smiled like he'd already won. First, he showed the jury the security footage of Nadia holding the store clerk at gunpoint, asking them, is this the kind of woman who deserves to raise a child? He called Nadia a criminal, a thief, and said her baby was just a convenient excuse to commit the crime. I tried showing the jury that Nadia only took
Hello, hello, bro. What's good?
things for her baby, but the prosecutor laughed. A crime is a crime. To my horror, I saw jurors actually nodding at him, and the whole time, Nadia kept clutching her belly and wincing in pain. She whispered, I'm gonna lose you, into her belly over and over. When the jury went to decide, they came back in 20 minutes. Nadia was now doubled over next to me, and just as the judge went to bang his gavel and declare her guilty, Nadia screamed and fell backwards. I'm giving birth, the prosecutor yelled. She's faking. She's trying to manipulate the jury, but Nadia's water was already over the floor. The judge screamed, get an ambulance, and paramedics burst in and loaded Nadia onto a stretcher. She grabbed my jacket and said, you're the only one kind to me. Please don't leave. So I climbed in with her. But when we pulled up to the hospital, I saw the prosecutor pull up too, as he jumped out of his car and ran in front of us to block the entrance. The judge is about to call me and tell me Nadia is a felon. She needs to be handcuffed while she gives birth. He picked up his phone and started calling. Nadia
If I was, if I was this bad, right hook into the face. I don't care. Get out my way, bro. Get out my way, bro. She's giving birth. Why you in the door? Get out my way. Right hook into the
Nadia
face.
cried, and I tried to grab his phone, but then the judge started ringing him. My heart sank, and the prosecutor answered on speaker, smiling like he'd won. But then the judge told him, the jury just changed their verdict. Seeing a homeless woman give birth over diapers made them reconsider. Nadia's ruled not guilty. The prosecutor's face fell, and that evening, I held Nadia's hand while she delivered a healthy baby girl as a free woman. Then I told her, you're no longer homeless, and when she asked why, I held up the footage of the prosecutor blocking the door. That's one hell of a lawsuit. My pregnant client fell and started
Oh my gosh, yo, W story, bro. Oh my gosh, W story.
I was working as a waiter at Casa Bonita, refilling water at a table right under the fake cliffside where our divers jump into the pool below, when a dad at a nearby table stood up and waved one down. Hold on, it's my son's birthday and he deserves more than that, these lame dives. I rolled my eyes. Every person there gets the same show. Divers flipping off the cliff into the pool below while they enjoy their sopapillas. But that wasn't good enough for this guy. He wanted a special show built just for his son, Stanley. My manager walked over and smiled politely. Sir, the show runs on a set schedule for everyone's safety. The dad waved him off. Do you know what I paid for this party? Change the schedule or else. I knew right then this wasn't going to end well for him. When the next dive came, he stood up again. That's it? A basic flip? My son needs at least double flip. A diver on the platform paused mid-climb to glare at him, then did the most basic flip possible off the cliff. His face went red. I want him diving through a flaming hoop. Set one up right now. My manager smiled tightly.
What? Is that safety policy? Oh
And
my
I had to
gosh.
hide my laugh. We don't have flaming hoops, sir. Then get one. By the third dive, he was standing on his chair, phone out, filming. Do it again, but yell happy birthday to my son this time. One diver actually did it, deadpan, monotone. Happy birthday, Stanley. Then he hit the water with a splash. The whole restaurant laughed, but he didn't notice. He just wanted more. I want him doing a double backflip off the highest platform on the cliff, right now. My manager's jaw tightened. Sir, that platform's for trained staff only. The father stomped his foot. I don't care. I'm not paying for the kiddie dive, so get someone up there. The head diver climbed up herself, waved at him with a huge smile, and called down loud enough for my whole section to hear. This one's for the dad who thinks he's a stunt coordinator. She launched into a full twisting backflip, landed clean, then swam straight to the edge and pointed right at him. Actually, sir, since you're the real expert here, why don't you show us how it's done? The whole restaurant lost it, chanting for him to dive as he turned red with embarrassment. Then two staff members in Black Bart cowboy costumes appeared and marched him toward the fake jail cell tucked in Black Bart's cave, cameras flashing the entire walk. I watched him sit behind the little wooden bars for the rest of the show, while Stanley cheered louder than anyone in the building. I still think it was the best tip I never got. I was working as a waiter at Casa Bonita,
Dang. Oh my gosh, bro, that one was good too, bro. Oh my
I slipped on my mom's diamond wedding ring while she was in the shower, but when I threw my hands up to spin, the ring flew off my finger and rolled deep under the fridge. My heart dropped, and my best friend Rex's ears shot up like he knew I'd messed up. I dropped down and looked, but it was way too far back to reach. Mom's shower was still running down the hall, and I had to get that ring back or else she'd kill me. So I grabbed a broom and jammed it under the fridge, but the ring only skidded farther back into the dark. My hands were shaking now, and then I heard the shower shut off down the hall. She's getting out, and I had seconds before she caught me, so I did the only thing I could think of and pushed Rex toward the gap. Get it, boy, get the ring. But I saw the food scraps under there, so I begged him, don't eat the food, just get the ring. He wriggled under, and I saw him snatch the ring in his teeth, my body finally relaxing. But in one gulp, he swallowed the ring whole with the food scraps. My hands flew over my head. The
In the fridge. Why would you throw the dog under the fridge? Yeah, so how did the dog get to the fridge, bro? Oh my gosh. Oh my Wi-Fi shit. Dang,
ring
bro.
was inside my dog now, and there was no getting it out. My mom stepped out of the bathroom as I dropped to my knees, shaking him, begging him to spit it up, but he just licked my face. Then she walked over. Have you seen my wedding ring? No, I haven't seen it, I lied, my voice cracking. Mom crossed her arms, staring right through me. I know you're lying. Did you take my ring? Just then, the front door opened, and Dad walked in, hearing what my mom said. Your ring? You lost your $20,000 wedding ring? My body started shaking. But right then Rex gagged, his whole body heaving, and the ring shot out of his mouth in a puddle of slobber. I couldn't let him take the blame, so I yelled, "It was me!" I dropped it and told him to get it. He ate it by accident, but Mom shook her head and put her hands on my shoulder. Sweetie, you don't have to cover for the dog. We know how much you love him, but we're going to have to give him away to the shelter for doing this. They carried Rex out the door as I protested, the ring safe in Mom's hand. They thought I was protecting him, but I was just telling the truth. I slipped on my mom's
Bro, oh my gosh, yo, he got away with it. I mean, I don't even know what I do at this point.
I was walking past the bridal suite 3 hours before my wedding when I heard my mom's voice through the door. Just take the money and tell him you got cold feet. I stopped and pressed my ear against the door. My bride's voice came back firm. Absolutely not. I love him, and I am not going anywhere. A bang against the wall. You do not belong in this family. Take the check, or I will ruin this wedding myself. I heard footsteps and ducked into the supply closet. My mom walked out with the check still in her hand. I pulled out my phone and texted my bride. I was outside and I heard everything. 3 seconds later, she texted back, "We are getting married no matter what." I leaned against the wall and took a breath. I didn't know how far my mom was willing to go. My sister grabbed my arm 10 minutes later. The flowers never came. I called the florist and put it on speaker. "Your mother canceled the order yesterday, sir." I drove to the grocery store in my suit and grabbed every bucket of flowers I could carry, but I was still 3 short for the tables when I got back and saw the makeup artist at the side door holding an envelope. "Someone called yesterday and canceled. I came to return your deposit." I begged her to stay and told her the wedding was still on, but she just shook her head
What? Bro, what? What do you mean by
and wouldn't look at me. "I've already booked another job for today. I'm so sorry." I stood in the parking lot watching her drive off, flowers wilting in my back seat, and that's when my bride called. I could hear she'd been crying. She came back, 100,000 this time, and she called my boss, told him I was unstable, and got me fired an hour ago. This wasn't about the wedding anymore. My mom was going after the rest of her life. Please tell me you recorded it. Every word. Do not delete a single second of it. But I knew my mom. She wasn't done. My mom stood up at the reception with her glass raised. I have watched many girls come and go from my son's life. I stood up.
Nah, bro, just slap that mom. Okay, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't do that, guys. Don't do that. A2 Brazil. No, that's sad. Yeah, bro, that's sad. Don't slap your mom, mom. I'm just kidding. I don't condemn violence. Yeah, nah. Don't do that.
And cut her off. What she means is she paid many of them to leave. The room went silent as I held up my phone and pressed play on the recording. Her voice filled the room, the $100,000 offer, the admission about the firing, and then the part I had not heard. "Take the money and get rid of the baby." My bride stood up, put a hand on her stomach, and looked right at my mom. "We're having twins." I crossed the room, took my bride's hand, and never looked back at the woman who tried to buy her out of my life. I was walking past the bridal suite.
Dang, W, bro. That's W. That's a devil for real, bro. It's a devil.
Every time the birthday kid started opening presents, I locked myself in the bathroom and waited for the cheering to stop. My mom couldn't afford gifts, but still sent me to every birthday in 3rd grade because the pizza was the only time I got dinner. I would eat embarrassed and never wanted anyone to know. But the day before my best friend Kai's birthday, his mom knocked on our door and asked if I wanted to sleep over. I said yes, because a sleepover meant dinner. But as soon I stepped out, Kai peered from around the corner. "Aren't you bringing your present for me?" I felt my legs buckle, but his mom immediately cut in. "I'm sure he'll come back for it, right?" I nodded, my stomach twisting in fear. During dinner, Kai punched my shoulder. "I can't wait to see what you got me, dude." And I laughed nervously while thinking if I should just go home before the party. I couldn't let Kai find out, but then his mom waved me into her bedroom. My face went hot because I thought she'd question me about presents, but instead she spread toys across the bed. "These are the presents I'm giving Kai tomorrow. Pick one and put your name on it so it can be from you." My chest froze. I realized she knew I was poor, and my hands started shaking, but she just took my shoulders and smiled. "Don't be shy, honey. Pick a toy." I nervously reached for the tiny fidget spinner, but then she slid me the giant monster truck instead. We wrapped it on her floor and wrote my name while Kai showered, and I nearly cried the whole time. The next day, I set a present down for the first time. Kai ripped the paper off and screamed, "How did you know? You're the best." I laughed, and his mom glanced at me and smiled. When the next present came out, I stayed in the
W, bro, for real, bro. This one you don't have to slap it, even though I was kidding you. Maybe I wasn't, but um, bro. Oh my
room.
god.
Every time the birthday kid started opening presents, I locked myself in the bathroom and waited for the cheering.
Yo, W, bro. W, for real.
I was at my high school prom when I let out a fart so loud I knew I had to go, so I rushed into the nearest porta potty. But the second I latched the door, it started violently rocking back and forth, and my stomach dropped. I heard a laugh. "I'm a flip it. Say I won't." I realized it was Derek, who'd bullied me since freshman year. "Derek, don't! I'm in my suit." But he heaved it over anyway, and I slammed into the door as the tank emptied all over me. I crawled out dripping in filth while he cackled with his friends.
Gotta stop this. Gotta stop this, bro. What is this, bro? Look at his face. You know this? Like, while he's looking at you down there, you just jump and boom.
"Ow! He smelled like caca, farts, and ah!" I walked away without a word like I always did, and I had no clue that tonight that would finally change. I was heading for the exit, hands on my face, crying,
Bro, having diarrhea, he does all that.
when my teacher grabbed my shoulder. "I've watched him bully you for 4 years. I should have stepped in long ago, but I won't let you take it tonight." My throat tightened because no one's ever stood up for me. Then Derek's voice cut across the lot. "If you're not a pussycat to come back, I'll flip it again, loser." The whole crowd laughed, and for the first time, the humiliation turned into something I've never felt before. I looked the teacher dead in the eyes. "Tell me what to do, but my suit's trashed." His nose burned at my smelly suit, and he slipped off his own suit jacket and threw mine in the garbage, his suit hanging loose on my frame. Then he walked me through loosening the porta potty door so it would blow open when it tipped, and he handed me 2 suction cups. I didn't understand what they were for, but he just grinned. "Trust me," he pointed at a porta potty. "Stand near that one. It's been used all day." I walked back into the packed prom, and Derek shoved through the crowd with a grin. "You came back. This'll be even better than last time." My heart pounded, because I'd never stood up to anyone in my life, but I forced myself toward the porta potty. "You want round 2? Bet! Everyone watch!" The whole prom turned as he shoved me inside and heaved it over. He was laughing like he won, until the loosened door burst open and a whole day's worth of filth poured out, burying him as the crowd screamed. He staggered up gagging, coated head to toe, spinning around for me. Then I stepped out without a single stain, because the second he flipped it, I'd stuck the teacher's suction cups to the wall and hung above the filth as it poured out the door onto him. His friends pointed and laughed. "You smell like caca, farts, and ah." 4 years later, I got the last laugh, and across the room, my teacher gave me a proud nod. I was at my
Dang, bro. Everyone at this party was pooping. Yo, imagine going out party, bro. There he turns out. Bro, I don't like, guys, I'm gonna say something right now. I don't like pooping in public. I don't like taking number two. I don't like even taking number one in public. Nah, bro. That's not for me.
high school prom when I let out a fart so loud. When I was collecting my son from his new school, I opened the front door for him, but he jumped in the back seat and popped in an AirPod. "Can you drive now?" I gripped the steering wheel because we used to be best friends, but now I was just the guy who drives him around. I opened Spotify and tried playing Fireflies by Owl City, the song he used to love. But he rolled his eyes and started scrolling Instagram brain rot reels. I joked, "Is AI brain rot really better than listening
Well, this generation is just cooked. Trust me when I say this. It's cooked, bro. It's over for this generation. Bring it now. Yeah, doom scrolling every day, bro. It's cooked.
To your old man. He put in his second AirPod, so I immediately searched best thing to play on a long
But what are we watching? We're watching his story. I'm reacting to his story.
drive. His story popped up first. I hit play and tensed up, not knowing what my son was going to do next. He slowly pulled an AirPod out. Yo, I know this guy. I didn't know he was on Spotify. He climbed into the front seat and turned it up, taking his second AirPod out. When the story finished, I played a compilation, and my son nodded. This His Story Spotify podcast is hitting for real for real. Now I can listen to him no matter what I'm doing. When I parked in the driveway, he hit the lock button. Can we do one more? When I was collecting my son,
Oh, it's just like something like for people to know that he has like he's just a community.
I found a dead body
Talk.
under a tarp on the beach during my nightly fishing trip. But instead of calling the police, I set up my camera and smiled from ear to ear. I was a reporter who had just gotten fired, but this story was going to be my ticket to glory. I circled the tarp with my light rig, framed my shot, and even rehearsed my opening line. Tragedy washed ashore tonight. A crowd of joggers gathered behind me, and one lady was already crying, which was great for atmosphere. I reached for the tarp, but the crying lady screamed, "Don't touch it! That's a crime scene!" So I backed off and played respectful journalist. "So Mrs. Jogger, you must be pretty shaken, right? Give me a statement." But she shook her head. "I'm calling the police." I jolted because if the police arrived and blocked me from filming, my ticket to glory would wash away. So I rushed back to film the reveal of the dead body under the tarp. But at that exact moment, my light rig died. I couldn't film in the dark, so I strapped my phone to the rig as a flashlight and handed my camera to the crying lady and told her, "Keep me in frame no matter what." I could hear the police sirens getting closer in the distance, so I straightened my hair and rushed towards the tarp. I ripped it off, and the dead body underneath it stood up. It was a huge fisherman who'd been napping under it, and he was furious. "Your lights woke me up from my nap." He chased me straight through my own rig, and I screamed for someone to please call the police. My ticket glory hadn't washed away. It just never even existed. The crying lady kept me
Dang,
in
wait,
frame the whole time. When the cops arrived, she was still filming, and I heard her say, in my grim reporter voice, "Tragedy washed ashore tonight. I found a dead
Hey, bro, that was funny, bro. Oh my gosh, you never know. Like this guy what might have been sleeping, you don't know, bro. Oh my gosh, bro. Oh my gosh. I thought he was dumb at first because like he was touching a crime scene. Like why would you do that? Bro, kids don't know what cartoons are anymore. Bro, yeah, bro. You ask them if they watch cartoon, what they just say, what does cartoon means? Bro, they ask you if it's TikTok. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Brenda is just like this generation is just it's just sad though. Sad.
The school bully walked around grabbing everyone's money, but when he got to me, I was already holding out a homemade cheeseburger for him. "Here you go, King. Enjoy." He grabbed it and examined it with one eye open like he was suspicious, but eventually, he put it in his mouth and swallowed it in 3 bites. I smirked because he had no idea that I'd blended 3 scoops of
3 bites? Bro, how big is this kid's mouth, bro? 3 bites? Nah.
gainer into that patty, and I knew that in a few months he'd be so fat he couldn't even breathe. He crushed the wrapper on my chest. "Same time tomorrow, little man." I smiled. "Can't wait." By week 2, he stormed over to me, already looking chubbier. "From now on, I want a double burger. You're my personal chef now, nerd." So that night in the kitchen, I added 3 extra slices of cheese, 2 extra scoops of mass gainer to the patty mixture, and generously buttered both buns. By month 2, he was so large that he couldn't sit down without breaking the cafeteria bench, and he'd brag with his mouth full while his jeans button popped off. "I'm gonna run this school till graduation." I thought nothing could go wrong. Then one Friday, he squinted at the bun mid-bite. "Why you being so nice, nerd? What's in this?" The table went quiet, so I grabbed it and took a giant bite myself. "Just some extra cheese. Why do you want me to stop?" Eventually, he ate it anyway, and I knew I had him. And on the day before spring break, he stomped into the cafeteria so heavily the floor shook. I sent him off with 6 burgers and hoped his mom didn't own a salad bowl. On the first day back, the cafeteria door opened, and the once mighty school bully was now rolling in on a mobility scooter, wedged between the armrests. Every fork in the room froze, and I had to bite my cheek to keep a straight face. So much for running this school till graduation. He rolled up and stuck out his hand. "Chef, give me my burger, now." I took a slow bite of my own burger and shook my head. "Nah, king." He raised his fist, so I leaned in close. "What are you gonna do? Eat me?" The cafeteria exploded, and even the lunch lady was laughing so hard, tears fell from her eyes. The class bully slammed the scooter into reverse and beeped his way out. I finished my burger in peace. The school bully
Hey, bro, that's just violation. I know. What? Yo, I'm sub W, bro. Welcome to the shadow. Wait. Oh, you said the history? Oh, my bad, bro. Dang. That. All right, never mind, bro. All right, let's continue, bro.
When I was homeless, I'd sit by the same store on my dirty mattress and tie a string to the door handle to open it for every shopper whose hands were full. I thought it was a harmless way to distract me from the hunger. But one afternoon, a mom came out with a baby on her hip and carrying 4 grocery bags. I opened the door for her like always, and she smiled at me like I was actually a person. I gasped in shock, and she stepped back in fear. "I don't have any cash," I laughed. "I don't want your money. I just want to feel human again." She just walked away, and I thought I'd never see her again. But every morning, she'd bring me a Boston cream Dunkin' donut and drink her coffee with me. But after a few months of this, she came empty-handed and grabbed my money cup. "I watch you open the door for everyone that passes. No one ever gives you money for it, but you still do it. Why?" I shrugged. "I told you, I just want to feel like a human." She pointed at the hotel across the road. I managed the Grandview Hotel. My doorman just
Wait, but guys, if you're opening the door, you don't feel like a human. You more feel like a robot. Because, like, usually, like, it's mechanic. I can't talk. You know
quit.
what?
She held out a card with both hands. "You've been interviewing for this job every morning. You just didn't know it." She took out a piece of paper
Oh, making me hungry, me too, bro.
with the job offer on it. $25 an hour, 5 days a week, plus free housing at the hotel. My first shift, I stood at the Grandview's front door in a uniform with my name stitched on it, and she was holding 2 Boston creams. She handed me one and walked inside, and I pulled the door open wide for the next stranger whose hands were full. When I was homeless, I'd sit by the same store on my dirty mattress and tie a string to the door handle to open it for every shopper whose hands were full. I thought it was a harmless way to distract me from the hunger. But one afternoon, a mom came out with a baby on her hip and carrying 4 grocery bags. I opened the door for her.
That's a W story, bro. Oh my gosh. W mom too, bro. Honestly, W mom too.
A police officer stormed over to me and my wife's car with his hand already on his holster. I rolled the window down, and he leaned in. "You know why I pulled you over? You've got a child in this vehicle with no booster seat." I instantly whipped around and checked my own back seat. "Officer, there's no child in this car. We don't even have children." My wife stayed quiet beside me, hands buried in her hoodie pocket. He pulled out his pad and clicked his pen. "Are you sure about that?" I laughed. "Sir, I think I'd know if I had a kid." I turned to my wife for backup, but she was facing her window, and her legs were shaking, and I knew she was nervous. His thumb popped the snap on his holster. "Sir, check the vehicle again." My hands came off the wheels slowly. I gently turned around, and I knew something extremely strange was going on. When I turned back, a pregnancy test was an inch from my nose. I looked closer and saw 2 pink lines. "Surprise!" My wife was laughing so hard she could barely speak. "You're gonna be a dad." The cop tore the page off his pad and passed it through my window. "Congratulations, Dad." The whole stop was a setup, because there really was a child in my car. It just hadn't been born yet. He tapped the roof twice and headed back to his cruiser. "Get that booster seat sorted. You've got about 7 months." A police officer stormed
Bro, wait, wait a minute. Wait.
over to
So, sh- my, my hand was just like trying to process that.
the teacher handed me back a test with F- written in bright red ink. I couldn't believe it. I had stayed up the entire night before, studying until I literally passed out. I looked over at my best friend Jackson's test, A plus 100% correct answers. I asked him if I could compare my answers with his to see where I met.
How did the officer know again? Bro, it wasn't setup, bro. Maybe like the mom just gave him $1,000 or something. Maybe Brandon. I don't know.
Messed up. We had the same answer for the first question. Must be some mistake, but I kept going down the list. Jackson and I answered every single question exactly the same way. This didn't make any sense. Just to be sure, I even used my smart glasses to scan both tests. They were identical.
Oh, wait, whoa. He got smart glasses at school. Whoa, maybe that's why he got an A. Maybe that's why the teacher did that. Wait, I'm gonna predict that, okay? I'm gonna predict that. Maybe that's why the teacher got him a F because he knows that he was shooting to the smart glasses. Boom.
I walked up to the teacher and asked for an answer. The math teacher, Mr. Maloney, sat behind his desk, already looking unhappy to see me. He looked down at the two papers in front of him, then looked up at me with an evil grin and poured his water bottle out onto the papers. The ink bled, and the paper started to fall apart. What? Why did you do that? Unfortunately for you, the grades have already been recorded, and now you have no proof. Now sit down. I'll speak to you after class. I took my seat and waited for class to
What? Okay, I'm getting confused right now. Should I change my mind? Guys, he's cheater? Yeah, yeah, I think he's cheating. Wait, but like, should I change my mind, chat? Wait, I'm kind
end
of
with no idea what just happened or what was going to happen. The bell rang and the rest of the class left, leaving just me and Mr. Maloney. Sir, what's going on here? He walked over and pounded his fist into my desk. I shot back in my chair. My glasses almost fell off of my face. I caught them before they hit the floor and shattered. He leaned in inches from my face. I'll tell you what's going on here, you little know-it-all. You're bringing the test score average up too high in this class. If the class scores low, I get more money in classroom funds. You're messing up my bag. He walked over to his desk. I adjusted my glasses as they slid down my nose.
Oh! Ah, y'all should have told me to change the answer, bro. Okay, bro.
As I said, yes, you may have answered everything correctly, but the grades have been entered and you have no proof, so there's nothing you can do about it. See you tomorrow. I pulled my glasses off and thought of how to get revenge. The next day, I made sure I was the first one in the classroom. Mr. Maloney began giving his lesson at the smartboard. When someone knocked on the door, it was the principal. Mr. Maloney, I found this note directing me to come to your class during first period. What? I didn't leave you any note. Just then, the smartboard cut to a video of Mr. Maloney's rampage from yesterday. What is the meaning of this? I stood up and looked Mr. Maloney dead in the eye. You thought you could do whatever you wanted to me because you destroyed the proof. I guess you don't know smart glasses when you see them. I started recording as soon as I fell back in my chair, so you gave me all the proof I need. Mr. Maloney was fired and banned from teaching ever again. My A+ was restored, and I ended the year with a 4.0. The teacher
Dang! But he did say he was studying all right. Yeah, but like, he's using smart glasses. You never know. You might be studying all night, like you're stuck in a question, you know. But yeah, W, bro. Oh my gosh, W smart glasses, by the way. I know you're not supposed to wear smart glasses at school, but W smart glasses.
My friends and I were in the backyard blasting my older brother's exclusive Nerf blaster when he ripped it out of my hands and shoved me like he always does. You're too much of a baby to even hold this. Get your loser friends out of here. I'm telling Mom you stole it. My friend's faces dropped, so I yelled, I'm not a baby. I can shoot better than you. He smirked and pointed at a tiny can on the fence across the yard. Fine, hit that in one shot and you can keep the blaster. Miss, and your friends are banned for good. And I'm telling Mom. He tossed me the blaster, laughing, because he knew I'd never made a shot like that in my life. My friends gathered behind me, hyping me up as I raised the blaster and lined up the tiny can across the yard. I took a slow breath and steadied my aim, dead on it, and I smiled, knowing I was finally about.
Let me guess. Let me guess, bro. Let me guess. He's gonna hit it, and the mother's gonna beat him up. Smart brain, bro. Oh my god. Wait, I don't think he cheated.
Out to
Maybe.
prove him wrong, but the second my finger squeezed the trigger, my brother shoved me hard in the back, and the dart flew way off to the side, sailing toward the fence. He burst out laughing as I hit the dirt. You're pathetic. I knew a little baby
Okay, of course he had to cheat, bro. Of course, of course. Everyone is cheating in his story now. Okay. Alright.
like you couldn't do it. My friends erupted, screaming that he cheated, but he didn't care. He just cupped his hands and yelled for Mom while waving them off. Get out of here. You're all banned losers. Then he ripped the blaster out of my hands and leaned down over me.
Are you sure about that, you ugly as hell? Alright, okay, okay. Emily Finney. That's been rivals for.
You'll never prove me wrong. But then one of my friends started jumping up and down, screaming, He's a goat! He's the goat! My brother smirked and puffed out his chest. Yeah, I know I am. Not you, you idiot, your brother. My brother spun around, and his face went pale. My dart had ricocheted off the fence post and stuck dead center on the can.
Nah, bro. That's so rigged. That is so rigged, bro. No way. There is no way, bro. This is one in a million, bro. Oh my god.
His own shove is what landed the shot. That doesn't count. Right then, the back door opened, and Mom came out. Someone called me. My brother opened his mouth, but I stood up and pointed at him. He shoved me on the ground and called all my friends losers. Mom marched over, grabbed him by the ear, and dragged him inside, grounding him as he flailed his arms and cried. I turned to my friends and held out the blaster. Turns out I only needed one shot to prove him wrong. My friends and I were in
Oh, karma for real. Karma is real for real, bro. It's karma is real. Yeah, it is real.
I was
Trust
reaching for a Sprite at the grocery store when I noticed a gap behind the fridge, big enough to crawl through. My mom was busy shopping up front, so I climbed in to explore. But when I popped out the other side, two big masked men froze and stared at me, and one was holding a gun. My heart started pounding, but then the shorter one crouched down. Hey buddy, wanna play a game? Help us out and you can have all the chips and soda you want. This felt weird, but my mom never let me have snacks at home. So I nodded, yes, not knowing how crazy things would get. The tall one boosted me up to a small window above a locked door. Here's the game. Crawl through, open the door, and grab the treasure inside, but be super quiet. So I wiggled through, but I knocked over a whole stack of boxes by accident. Crash! A worker called from the front. Everything okay back there? The men ducked, the gun pressed flat against the wall, but I just giggled and unlocked the door. Inside was a room full of money, and they said the cash was the treasure, so I stuffed it into a bag as fast as I could. I was having so much fun that I dropped a handful right as footsteps came toward the door, and they yanked me into the shadows until the footsteps walked away. But reaching for the last stack, my elbow bumped a little red button, and a silent light started flashing. The men's faces went white, and the tall one shoved the heavy bag into my arms. Quick, you got the treasure. Now run it to the white van outside, fast. If anyone asks, your dad's waiting for you. So I hugged the bag tight and ran, the chips and soda motivating me to go faster. I ran out the front doors, but the parking lot was full of police cars with their lights spinning. I walked past them toward the white van, hugging my treasure, but a cop stepped in front of me. Whoa, where you headed, buddy? I grinned up at him. I'm bringing the treasure to the van. My dad's waiting, and I get chips and soda if I hurry. But he looked skeptical, unzipped the bag, and his eyes went wide at all the cash. Son, who gave this to you? I pointed towards the back. The nice guys in the back. I crawled through the window and opened the door for them. His face changed, and he grabbed his radio. Minutes later, they dragged the two masked men out in handcuffs, and everyone was calling me a little hero. I didn't get why, but the police gave me all the chips and soda as a reward. But before I could open it, my mom rushed in and took the snacks right out of my hands. No snacks! I was reaching for a
I'm not doing all that before no snacks. Oh no, bro. What do you mean? Bro, why would you take the uh, bro, Elmo, bro. Okay, this is the first time I'm gonna say this, bro. But that woman's an L, bro. They just hopped the floor, bro. Like, oh, bro. Oh my gosh. What do you mean? I just did all that. I just risked my life. The guy had a gun. What do you mean no strength for you, bro? Hi, was good. Hello.
Sprite at the grocery store when I noticed a gap behind the fridge, big enough to crawl through. I opened the trivia game during my flight and typed my name in as Aaron Baum because my dad was from Thailand and Baum was my surname. But when a flight attendant walked by and saw Baum on my screen, she immediately speed walked to the pilot. I thought nothing and kept answering chemistry questions, but then the pilot's voice came on. We're making an emergency landing. Nobody panic. I was confused until two crew members showed up to my seat. Please come with us. I stood and followed them, my heart pounding. In the cockpit, the co-pilot closed the curtains and calmly said, "We know you have a bomb on this plane." I immediately shook my head, but a flight attendant was already zip-tying my wrists so tight my fingers tingled. She pulled a tablet with the trivia game I'd been playing. "You put your username as Aaron Baum. We know you're making a discreet bomb threat." I almost laughed, explaining Aaron Baum was just my name, but the co-pilot was already calling bomb squad and FBI through his radio. "The best thing you can do right now is admit you're guilty. You're already getting 25 years minimum." Then a passenger pulled open our curtain. "I'm flying to my daughter's heart surgery. She could die and I might not be there to hold her hand. Do we really need to emergency land?" He was sweating, but the pilot held up his hand. "I'm sorry about your daughter, but this is more serious." A flight attendant escorted him to his seat without another word. We continued descending, and they kept asking if the bomb was on a timer and how I snuck it past security. I begged to show them my passport, but they never let me. When we made our emergency landing, two FBI officers rushed into the cockpit with a bomb squad holding my bag. They carefully unzipped it. "Where's the bomb?" They tossed all my things to the floor, and I again said, "I don't have one. Aaron Baum is my name." That's when the bomb squad member squinted. He opened my passport. "Says here Aaron Baum is just his name." The whole crew went silent as they looked at my passport. Aaron Baum. The flight attendant turned to me. "We're sorry, Mr. Baum. We can offer you a $15 meal voucher for the misunderstanding." I opened the trivia.
No way, bro. Oh my god. People are so dumb these days. Maybe, like I said that, bro. This Oh, this one is cooked. This is done, bro. Oh my gosh, no
I
way.
clinked glasses with my wife and toasted to never having kids. She smiled. This is why I love you. You're okay with never having filthy gremlins running around. But then my phone rang, and when I picked it up, an officer said, "We're so sorry. Please come to Orchard Fostering Agency right now." My blood ran cold as I told my wife I needed to go. I walked into the agency with my legs shaking and saw my 8-year-old niece, Lucy, hugging her teddy. Her eyes were red. I knelt down. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" "Daddy's dead," she replied without looking at me. I felt my legs buckle because my little brother was dead. But before I could even think, a woman tapped my shoulder.
Chad, my friend, good reaction. What do you mean? Or what do you mean? My friend, good reaction.
Lucy wouldn't talk to any of us. She asked for her Uncle Dan specifically. "If you can't take her tonight, she'll have to go into the foster system." I said I'll take her in before my brain could think. We climbed into my car and my hands shook on the wheel. I told my wife I'd never have kids, but when I looked at Lucy sobbing into her bear, I knew I couldn't abandon her. We pulled in and I walked inside with a lump in my throat. My wife saw Lucy and immediately sneered, "What's she doing here?" Lucy jumped, but I told her to stay down and asked my wife to please talk upstairs. She slammed her fork and followed me while Lucy sat on the couch. She slammed the door while tapping her foot, and I explained everything. My brother's death, Lucy asking for me, her being thrown into foster care unless we took her. But my wife didn't even hug me. She clenched her jaw, and her first words were immediately, "We promised we'd have no kids." She stormed out and stomped downstairs before I could react. I followed her, but she was already in Lucy's face. "We're not raising you. I'm sorry about your dad, but you're not staying. Now go pack your bags while I call the foster."
Look at that. Look at that. Ugly. Ugly. Listen, I'm not hating on her, but if I was Lucy, bro, like you see those two eyes, bro, that's what my two fingers in it. I'm not even lying, bro. I'm not gonna say, hey, bro. She's not even sorry for the dad. Oh my god.
Agency. My face dropped in horror because she'd already grabbed her phone, and Lucy actually stood up. She grabbed her bear and walked towards the door like she was going to leave, and that's when I called out, "No, Lucy's staying." My wife put her phone down and turned to me. "No, she should stop being selfish and putting this mess on us. It's not our fault she got unlucky with her dad." Lucy said quietly, "It's okay, I'll just leave." But I shook my head and got in my wife's face. "That's my brother you're talking about, and Lucy's staying." I stomped my foot, and my wife stepped back. "Okay, then choose, me or that stupid girl." I looked at Lucy, then at my wife. "Easiest decision I've ever made. You just showed me your true colors. Get out of my house." Her jaw dropped, and she threw a wine glass at me before storming out and slamming my door. Lucy was still crying as I dropped down and hugged her. "Uncle Dan's got you, sweetheart. You're staying. We're gonna help each other get through this." We sobbed into each other's arms. I never saw my wife again, but 10 years later, I sat at Lucy's graduation, holding her bear and watching her get her diploma as she smiled at me. She's still my niece, but she's also my daughter too. I clinked glasses with my
Dang, W, bro. Oh my gosh. Yo, W story. Oh my.
I walked into the school gym with a plastic gun and fake blood covering my shirt, ready to win the annual costume contest. I saw kids dressed in mummies and skeletons, but then a kid stumbled in wearing just jeans and a plain white shirt. I tapped him with my fake gun and asked why he entered without a costume. But when he turned around, his entire face was gray. He was clutching his stomach and dropped to the floor, and blood instantly began pooling under him. I gripped my head, wondering if this was real, but then I saw a bullet wound in his back. A girl screamed, and suddenly every head snapped towards me. They saw me standing over a bleeding out kid, holding a gun with blood on my shirt. "He shot him!" someone yelled as a teacher crouched behind a student to call 911.
Bro, are these people dumb? Like, they ain't getting any bullets. Like, chat, am I the only one tripping? Like, oh, okay, alright. I think they are just done, bro.
I instantly threw my hands up. "It's fake! My gun is a costume! This wasn't me!" I held my pistol up to prove it, but everyone instantly started climbing over each other to get away from me. I didn't know what to do, wondering if there was a real shooter in this building, and just dropped down and gripped the kid's shoulder. "Please get up. Tell them I didn't shoot you." But he wouldn't move even when I shook him. I couldn't hear him breathing, and his blood kept spreading under my knees. My hands trembled as I threw my plastic gun across the floor, and suddenly I felt kids tackle me and pin me to the ground, twisting my arms. That's when the doors slammed open. 2 cops ran in while teachers and students screamed I'd shot someone. They drove their knees into my back, and I cried as the cuffs clicked shut behind my back. I was still thrashing and screaming I didn't do this, when suddenly I heard clapping. The principal was on his feet, grinning, while everyone stared at him horrified. He ran towards me and wrapped a gold medal around the neck of the kid on the ground. What a costume. This is why my son is the best. He smiled, and suddenly the kid sat up, alive and well. My jaw dropped as he spat an empty bag of fake blood out of his mouth, and when I looked closer, I saw the bullet in his backup was just makeup. He stood up and raised his hand. My costume was to pretend to be shot, but the cops uncuffed me and immediately cuffed him instead. Pretending to be shot at school was also your crime. You're coming with us. I walked into the school.
That's crazy. So baby, I'm back online. Yo, what's good, bro? Oh my. Yo, okay. I don't know if that was W though. I don't know, bro. I don't know. Dang.
My mom walked into the living room and saw me sitting on the carpet with a Kleenex hanging out of my mouth. Spit that out right now. I spit it onto the carpet and she grabbed my shoulders. You cannot eat tissues. Do you understand me? I nodded, but I didn't understand because I was only 5 and I liked how they dissolved into this soft mush on my tongue, so I just got sneakier about it. I started eating them in my room one at a time while I watched cartoons, dropping the empty boxes under other garbage in my trash can. Then one morning, I woke up and I couldn't breathe through my nose at all. My mom rushed me to the hospital, and when we got there, the doctor stuck a camera so far up my nose, I was convinced it was going to come out the other side. He needs surgery. There is excess tissue blocking his nasal passage. My blood ran cold. The tissues. I thought about every empty box I had buried in the trash can over the past several months, and every time my parents looked at me that week, I was convinced they already knew. I couldn't even sleep because I kept imagining a surgeon pulling soggy wads of Kleenex out of my nose while a room full of adults stood around with their arms crossed. The morning of the surgery, they made me put on a tiny gown with blue bears on it, and I lay there on the table while someone put a mask over my face. Count backwards from 10, honey. 10, 9, 8. Then everything went black, and I woke up with gauze packed into both nostrils and my mom holding my hand. All done, sweetheart. Everything went perfectly. I burst into tears, touching the gauze in my nose, believing that it was leftover Kleenex tissues from the surgery, but my mom just waved it off and reassured me. It'll stop hurting and go away after a couple of days, honey, thinking I was crying due to the pain. For the next 9 years, every time someone mentioned that surgery, I changed the subject. Then when I was 14, I was taking notes in biology class while my teacher wrote on the board. The human body contains 4 types of tissue: epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscle tissue, and nervous tissue. My pen stopped moving. Body tissue, not paper tissue. I slumped over my desk, realizing that the surgery never had anything to do with the Kleenex. My mom walked into the living room.
Wait, then what did it have to do to then? Then was it a problem? Oh, I am actually so confused on that child. What horror, please? I want an horror that doesn't have kid getting violated and blood. Yeah, because YouTube policy, right? Sorry, YouTube policy. I'm sorry, bro. I have to follow the YouTube policy. Just find me a channel that doesn't have kid getting violated right now.
I tiptoed over every creaky floorboard to the front door and successfully lifted my secret DoorDash Meat Lovers Supreme Pizza off the porch at 2 a.m. But when I turned around, I saw my 6-year-old brother watching me in the dark. He held out one hand, one bite. I hugged the box and shook my head no. So he laid down on the floor and opened his mouth to scream and throw a tantrum so I'd get caught. I immediately crouched down in a panic because if Mom found out, she'd ground me for the entire summer. I shoved a slice into his hands and whisper shouted, "Wait, wait, wait. Take this, you monster. It's pepperoni, your favorite. Just be quiet." He sat up and started chewing, so I got ready to walk away, already smelling the 7 other juicy slices waiting to melt on my tongue. But then I heard him gulp down hard on his final bite, and when I glanced back, he was flat on his back, getting ready to throw another tantrum. I sighed because he was abusing his power, and I knew the only way to win was to play a different game. So I dropped the box between us to share and started stuffing my face, trying to eat more slices than him. When he realized what I was doing, his eyes went huge, and he dove in, and his blackmail became an eating contest. We crammed slices with both hands into our mouths until our cheeks were so filled we looked like chipmunks, and sauce dripped down our faces, and neither of us were thinking about being quiet anymore. We were on slice number 6 when the top stair creaked and the hallway lights snapped on. Mom stood at the bottom of the stairs with her arms crossed, and we froze mid-bite. My brother pointed at me with a crust still in his fist. "He ordered it!" Mom crouched to his level. "You're both grounded for the entire summer." She took the box and dropped the last slice in her mouth as she marched us up the stairs. He leaned over and whispered, "Don't look at me. You should have just ordered 2." I tiptoed over every creaky floorboard to the
Dang, bro. Oh my god. Dang. Yo, that's crazy. That's fucking crazy, bro. Oh my gosh. Like it's looking fun to watch.
Me and my boys cornered our art teacher.
Should we watch Zati films? Like I heard that Zati films has some good videos too, bro. It's almost like history. Zati film, bro. Zati film. Alright, there he is, bro. Wait. I heard that histories can save lives, so let's see. Is that him really? I think it's him in the live. Okay. Let's watch some of his shorts, bro. Let's see.
When the ant falls into the sand pit, a hidden ant lion is usually waiting underneath the loose sand. And as the ant tries to climb out, the walls collapse beneath its feet, sliding it closer and closer to the predator. But then the ant lowers its giant jaws against the ground. The jaws tense up like loaded springs before snapping shut at an incredible speed. The impact is so powerful that it launches the ant straight into the air, and if the jump sends it high enough, the ant can blast completely out of the pit. When the ant falls into
What? Wait, I didn't know that ants can do that. Well, what? That has to be. That has to be a lie. What? Dang, I didn't know. Wait, why can I not hear anything? Bro, I cannot even hear anything.
What is this? What is this, bro? There's no way. There's no way, bro. There's no way. Like my headphones are not dying, right? Like,
Alright, there is no way. Bro, they are 100%. What is. Chat, what is this, bro? I can't even hear anything. Can you guys hear? Bro, I can't hear anything. Yo, chat. Oh my gosh, bro. I can't even hear anything. What is this, bro? Alright, bro. Oh my gosh. I can't even hear anything. I think I need to fix this.
child, I think I need to fix this, bro. I need to fix. I need to fix it, bro. I need to fix it. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this live stream, make sure you click that subscribe button and click that like button, guys. I will be here tomorrow to play rivals, and I hope all of you guys are here. I'm going live tomorrow a little bit earlier. I know today I went live a little bit earlier, but I wasn't able to go live for a lot of time. So I'm sorry, guys, because like my headphones are not working right now. I'm sorry, some technical issues. So yeah, guys, thank you for watching this live stream. And if you enjoyed this live stream, make sure you click that like button and click that subscribe button. And I'm shouting.